Hello, everybody. Bill Thornton, SoCal Saber. Thank you for stopping by for spinning number 112. This is all about the music I listened to this week, the albums from going into the collections, albums in the collections, CDs in the collections. So go down there and hit that like button. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel, help it grow. Trying to get some growth in this channel. I know there's a lot of people in the vinyl community and use some help getting this channel more advertisement. So put some remarks down there too. About these albums I'm going to show you or anything that you played this week? Love to hear from you. Our first album, the first thing we listened to this week was the 1981 album, The Best of Dave Mason. I have 3 LPs in the collection by Dave Mason. And not to be confused, and I could have been confused if I hadn't looked this up. Blue Thumb Records released an album with the same title in 1974, and I guess it received some pretty bad reviews. This does have an inner on it, but it's just one of those advertisements from the day. Dave was a founding member of Traffic in the 60s, and he wrote a few and sang a few of their hits like Hole in My Shoe and Feeling All Right. Show you the tracks again on this one before I show you the album. He had an interesting career, from what I read, as a solo artist and with other artists. This album has a few cover songs, as well as ones written by Dave. I really like what is probably his biggest hit, We Just Disagree. What a really good song. I got this on Whatnot, in that Whatnot bundle I've been working on. I'm probably a little bit more than halfway through it right now. It's on Columbia Red. This one started my week off on a good note. So I am going to give the best of Dave Mason, the 1991 album, G plus to start us off this week. What'd you think? Like Dave Mason? I do. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is what is this? Okay, this is in that Whatnot bundle also. And it's called the Country Male Artist of the Decade. And this is Sonny James from 1975. Boy, this is in really good shape for over 50 years old. This is the only thing I have in the collection by Sonny James. We're looking up a little bit of information about him. He was known as the Southern Gentleman. And he used the popular Nashville sound of the 60s of country pop hits of the past. His big hit from 1957 was Young Love. I had to go back, and that name is very familiar. I had to go back and listen to it, and I listened to it, and I did like it, still like it. I wasn't sure that it wasn't done by Ricky Nelson, but I guess it was Sonny James who did it and made it a hit. This album is recognized as one of the top country albums of that decade. It spent 7 weeks on the Billboard Country Chart. Pretty good. It is a pretty good album. It's an okay album. See what we got. Look what this looks at. Oh, it's another Columbia. Columbia hitting the spot today with us. Another Columbia Red. When listening, I thought his voice was really good and easy to listen to. The music was a little slightly upbeat, but still seemed to me like a crying in your beer type without the violins. Only because of the lyrics. It seemed like every song you wrote on here is about, I lost this girl, or I lost that girl, or something to that effect. But I'm not saying that it's a bad record. It was a good record. Okay? And I'm going to give this album Country Male Artist of the Decade from 1975. I'm going to give this a G. Solid G. Or good. Another nice entry into the collection also. Then a kind of real strange one here from the Whatnot, Bill. From the Whatnot. This is a 1968 LP, still in shrink. And look at the shrink and then the sale thickers. This is In Search of Eros by Rod McCune. Never heard of him. It's the only thing I got in the collection. It probably will be the only thing I get. I won't be searching for him anymore. Anything. This is another unknown artist that I didn't know nothing about from this Whatnot collection. So there's a little value to what I'm getting, things that getting to learn a little bit. Well, anyway, I was a little bit surprised because when it started off, there's very light music in the background, real light, nice little jazz going on. But the whole album is spoken. Track after track after track is spoken. And from what I've read, this artist sold a lot of books and a lot of albums back in the day, and a lot of them were on poetry, poems. So if you're in there, this is, if you like poetry or poems, you might want to check this guy out. Here we go with the, got an inner on it. I'll put this up again here so you can freeze it and blow it up if you want to read it. Okay. Show you the album. And this is on Epic Records. Poetry has never been my thing in life. Half the times I can't understand what they're talking about. But now I have some poetry in my collection. Only because I don't like poetry and only because this is okay, I'm going to give it a fair plus for the week. That is In Search of Eros, the 1968 album by Rod McCune. Poetry. Let me know what you think about poetry in music and albums. It's pretty strange, but it's in the collection. Whatever it is. The next one I did, or I listened to, was one of the ones I picked up at the my visit to the In Groove in Phoenix. Was on my want list for quite a while. And I got to get it out of here. It's a little tough on this one. And this is a 2020, the Record Store Day 2024 reissue of the 1971 release by ELP. I have 6 LPs in the collection by Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. This features the musical adaptation of pictures at an exhibition, The Piano Suite by Modest Mussorgsky. I probably butchered that. Sorry about that. There's no inner on this one. Yes, there is an inner on this one. It's a nice inner. Pictures at an exhibition went to number 3 on the UK albums charts and number 10 on the US Billboard 200. A lot of classical musical. I think there was critical reception to the album but it was generally favorable in the UK, where the LP won the Melody Maker poll for the best group that year. But quite harsh in America, where a new contingent of rock critics were against the excesses, they called it, of prog rock. This being classical for the most part, I really liked it, especially the material from Mussorgsky. Yeah, we'll see what the album takes a look at. Taking a look at the album. So this one's on BMG. And pictures at an exhibition, the Record Store 2024 reissue of the 1971 album is getting a VG for the week. Very good. Nice stuff. Well, we're getting to the time of the week where we're going into the CDs. Okay, and the first CD we listened to this week was number 185. Number 185, and this was a 1994 album by R.E.M, Monster. And I have 2 LPs and 9 CDs in the collection by R.E.M. Must mean I like them, right? This was the 9th studio album by the American rock band. And different from the others, this included distorted guitars. This was like their experimentation using distorted guitars. And Monster debuted at number 1 in the United States in at least 7 other countries, and received generally overall good reviews. And I'm having a hard time getting this one out of here. See what we can do here. So any R.E.M fans out there, let me know what you think. Do you have Monster? I can't tell you if it's one of my favorites from R.E.M because I can't remember them all. And here's the little booklet that goes with it. Yeah, and it, as I said, it debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 sheet with the first week sales of 344,000 copies, and sold 131,000 copies in 4 days to debut at number 1 in the UK chart. Let's see how this is going. At the 37th annual Grammy Awards, it was nominated for the Best Rock Album of the Year, but unfortunately, it lost to the Rolling Stones' Voodoo Lounge that year. CD. Nice blue. R.E.M. label in there. I said I'm not sure how this would rank in my other ones, but for this week, I'm going to go bead a G on this. The 1994 album Monster by R.E.M. I'll show you, put there so you can see the tracks again if you want to zoom in on it. Got to be some R.E.M. fans out there. Now, this next one I want to talk to you about, you can't find on Discogs. It's number 186. Pulled it out in an order, and it's called New Faces. And when I was looking at it, it's a 1995 album, various artists. When I looked at it, you can see down there, it says Askland Productions. I went, oh my goodness. My daughter and I were just talking about Conrad about a week and a half ago, wondering what he did. So I want, this is a gentleman that I had the privilege of working with when I was running Shenanigans Youth Theater Group. He did some musical stuff for our shows, He was also responsible for creating and recording the 2 cassette albums that Shenanigans put out back in the day, Christmas albums. And at this time, he was still going on tour with Freddie Fender, but I lost track of him. I didn't know, so I looked him up online, did a search for Conrad Asklin, and then I found his webpage. And boy, he's really gone on to do a lot of really, really nice stuff, good stuff. This is a CD that he put out when the Asklin Productions was just getting started. I'm sure that's why it's not registered. In fact, these singers on here are all really good. This is a pretty good album. Mostly country, a little honky tonk. The very last song on here has some background vocals, and it's by the kids from Shenanigans Youth Theater Group. That's pretty neat. And he's got it listed. The credits are listed on there. But, pretty cool. And some of the stuff that he wrote, like Shimmy Boom Boom, I could relate to everything that it talks about a guy who's being in Vegas and he's broke and he drives down to Victorville. And he goes to the Roy Rogers Museum to visit Roy Rogers. And I've been to the Roy Rogers Museum a couple times when it was here in Victorville. It eventually moved and then eventually went out of business. He was in the lyrics, he talked about the Cocky Bull. That was a big restaurant out in Adelanto back in the day. And like once every other month or something, they would have a country western star. Johnny Lee, I saw Johnny Lee there, and we said, come and actually perform there. So that's pretty cool that he mentioned it, and I could relate to those things. But the other stuff is pretty enough. It's pretty good album. Here's the back. I'll show you. He's got 21 tracks on it. So it's, well, a lot of material on there. So yeah, I'm very, very fortunate to have been able to work with him. It's pretty cool. And what did I do? I'm not a big country fan. I'm a fan of Conrad. I could have gone overboard. Might have gone a little bit higher, but I'm going to give this a G+ for the week. New Faces. Various artists from Asklin Productions, 1995. G+ still pretty good, ain't it? Yep, I think so too. All right, now to the last album of the week, which was in the collection, just waiting its turn to be called for out. And it's number 103. And it is the 1978 LP by Rod Stewart, Blondes Have More Fun. I have 11 LPs, 2 CDs, and a 4 CD box set in the collection by Rod Stewart. Can you tell I like Rod and his material over the years? Still want to get those CD box sets going out. See how we can do this one here. Big picture of Rod. Hello, everybody. I'm back. You probably heard that phone ringing. I had to splice these together. I had to answer that. That was my stepdaughter calling. And she doesn't call that often, so I was hoping that everything was okay, which it was. Okay, I was talking about the last thing of the week, and it's the Blondes Have More Fun album by Rod Stewart. And yeah, I do like Rod Stewart stuff. This is a gatefold. Oh, I already showed you the gatefold, but we'll show you again. This was the 9th studio album by Rod Stewart. We're on Warner Brothers Records. This was Stewart's. Popular as it was, this is his foray into disco sounds. And they say that it's disco on Discogs. And when you look it up, they talk about disco. But I really did not hear the disco sounds. I guess I'm too acclimated to stuff like Staying Alive and stuff like that from the Bee Gees and some Donna Summer disco stuff, but his music here did not uh, hit me as disco, but it really didn't sound like that. The album was a commercial success, reaching number 3 in the UK and number 1 in the US. But it was critically divisive as far as the lead single, "Do You Think I'm Sexy," became one of Rod's biggest hits, peaking at number 1 in both the UK and the US. There was a lot, it was divisive because of the lyrics and the different songs in there. In this album, it did chart in 10 different countries. I'm a fan, and this took me back, and so I'm giving this one here a VG for the week. This is Blondes Have More Fun, the '78 album from Rod Stewart. Now I got to go back here and pick out the two that took me back. I had the most fun with this week. Okay. Well, I am going to pick because of this one really took me back in time and I had fun with it. I am going to pick that New Faces CD 95 from Asklin Productions as my one pick of the week, and I'm going to pick Blondes Have More Fun as my second pick of the week. Others could have very easily been picked, but like Monster was good. That was rated high. Pictures at an Exhibition was good, rated high. Either one of those two could have made it into the final picks, but they didn't. So this is SoCal Saber saying put some comments down there about their albums, my picks. Take care of yourselves out there. Be kind to each other. Stay safe.